Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. This is my morning voice, guys. Today, we're going to continue in the book of Genesis, in the Net Bible. There we go, now you can see it. Reader's Edition. In plain English. And we're going to look at the descendants of Adam down to Noah. So what's happening here is the world and people were created, and then in chapter 3, sin was created by the man and his wife, Adam and Eve. And then we had Cain and Abel, the first murder. So now we're going to get to the point where all humankind is going to be judged in the flood of Noah. So we're going to go through the genealogy of the line of Noah. This is the record of the family line of Adam. When God created humankind, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female when they were created. He blessed them and named them humankind. When Adam had lived 130 years, he fathered a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and he named him Seth. The length of time Adam lived after he became the father of Seth was 800 years. So he had Cain and Abel, and then he had to expel Cain. Well, God expelled Cain from where they lived, and he wandered. And then he became 130 years old, and he had Seth. And Seth is going to be the line that takes us all the way down to Jesus eventually. But we'll see as we get there, because this doesn't stop in the Old Testament. It keeps going into the New. And then he turned out to be 930 years old when he died. And we're going to see that for the most part, because sin is in the world, that generation after generation, they generally live less time until they get to now, and now people live 70, 80 years. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. Seth lived 807 years after he became the father of Enosh, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Seth was 912 years, and then he died. And they're mentioning the main people in this, the people that take us down to Noah. But they had other kids. They all had other kids. Adam and Eve had other kids. They might have had 100 kids. He lived to be 930 years. So, when Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Canaan. I wouldn't want to have a kid when I was 90 years old. Enosh lived 815 years after he became the father of Canaan, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Enosh was 905 years, and then he died. When Canaan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. Canaan lived 840 years after he became the father of Mahalalel, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Canaan was 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. And Mahalalel lived 830 years after he became the father of Jared, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Mahalalel was 895 years, and then he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. Jared lived 800 years after he became the father of Enoch, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Jared was 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God for 300 years, and he had other sons and daughters. So this is a little different, and I think, if I recall, this is halfway through from Adam to Noah. Enoch was very, very special. Adam got to walk with God, but then sin entered the world, and I don't think he walked with God anymore. But here we see another man, Enoch, and we'll see him in other parts of Scripture. References to Enoch. He walked with God for 300 years, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Enoch was 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and then he disappeared because God took him away. So it didn't say that he died. This is different. Like, God just took him. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. Methuselah lived 782 years after he became the father of Lamech, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Methuselah was 969 years, and then he died. And he's, I think, the longest living of any human being ever. And now it's a big deal when somebody lives to be 100. There are 100-year-old people walking on planet Earth. Very slowly, but walking on planet Earth. So this guy was 969 years old. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah, saying, "This one will bring us comfort from our labor and from the painful toil of our hands, because of the ground that the Lord has cursed." Lamech lived 595 years after he became the father of Noah, and he had other sons and daughters. The entire lifetime of Lamech was 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So, we've come from the beginning of the world to the beginning of sin to now we're going to find out what has happened in this vast period of time between Adam and Noah. And we're going to see that the world is filled with people just like it is now. And that the people were wicked, and God decides to judge the people. But he saves Noah and his family. And it's one of the most fascinating stories in the Bible. So stay tuned. Peace out. And see you next time.